Aries, welcome to your October 2016 love reading. I had to think for a moment because I'm recording this during the first week of September, so that's always a challenge for me to remember what month I'm doing. I try not to do readings too far in advance, but a few weeks is not outrageous. So I've been just spreading cards like this just to make sure they get okay. And hopefully the road pavers, I hope you can't hear that, but I have all the windows closed and it's like about 90 degrees outside, so you know that I'm concerned about people hearing this, because it isn't pleasant, but it always seems to be something. Okay, and the final card, I'm going to shuffle this because a couple of the cards were upright. Let me shuffle the rest of this deck to get the final card. I might even pick a card from the bottom of the deck, but I'm still going to shuffle. Oh boy. Oh wow. I just got this card for Taurus in a different position. That's awesome. Great position too. Okay. I think you have some wonderful cards here, Aries. Wow. Okay, so the overall energy is the Ten of Cups. So something worth celebrating. This can be marriage for some people. This can be like a committed relationship, marriage, but it can be just family joy. Something that is bringing people together. And I did get this, I thought I got this for another sign. I think it was Scorpio, but I'm not sure. But yeah, so that is something that is a focal point for you and something that you're happy about. Now, it doesn't have to be family. It can be something where you're just in love, and maybe you have gotten engaged or you're getting married, and so that could be it as well. It's really funny. The 9 and 10 of Cups, it's, obviously because it's cups, it's talking about some sort of emotional well-being. But there's also, financial abundance associated with these cards as well. So I always find that very interesting. Let me see what else is going on. In the recent past, we have the King of Wands. So this might be the person that you ended up with. This would be a very, most of you are women, and most of you are looking for men, so this would be a real man's man type of a guy. This could be actually a fire sign, an Aries, or a Leo or a Sagittarius individual, but it's double masculine energy, so it's somebody who's very confident and outgoing, and somebody who may be a business person or an entrepreneur, somebody who's, but not like the King of Pentacles. This is somebody who is just a very good leader, and a very kind of a forceful, somebody that people look up to. I could see like a Leo rising individual, even, somebody who has Leo rising, maybe even more than the sun, but whatever. I mean, it's just, that might be why you're celebrating. Maybe you met somebody. And it's funny because if you are an Aries woman and you're interested in men, that's the kind of man that you will probably be best off with. Because I know sometimes, not just with Aries, but all the fire sign women, when they have a lot of fiery energy in their charts, they have a tendency to gravitate or maybe be attracted to, or maybe the guy is attracted to them, who is more passive, maybe even a water sign, somebody who is more quiet, and they can feel in control, but then by the same token, they don't really feel like they've met their match. There's not that kind of, what's that word? I can't think straight. There's just not that challenge with a man who is going to just cave all the time. And Aries love a good challenge. Okay, so you need a man who's going to challenge you if you're a woman. You need a man who's going to challenge you and isn't going to just give in to everything. Okay, and that's good for you because you are an Aries. I'm not saying that all women should be, get that kind of guy. I'm talking about specifically for Aries women, because you're a cardinal sign as well. So, I mean, you like having your way and calling the shots. It's funny, in the near future, maybe that was the guy that you broke up with, because then it says in the near future, the Knight of Cups. Now, this is the guy, this is like the James Taylor type, the singer-songwriter. Now, it could be like this is the knight, the knight on the white horse, that kind of jazz. It could be, even though it's a Cups, I could see it being a Libran individual, because they tend to be very romantic, and it's almost like an outer show or a thing like that. Now, this person, I'm not saying that this person would be a phony when it comes to love. I'm just saying that they're more sensitive and gentle, and they're more like into that whole ritual involving love, whereas the King of Wands may be more oblivious. And maybe that, I'm seeing something really happy is taking place for some kind of celebration. Okay, I didn't get this guy reversed, so I didn't automatically think that it was a bad situation, but it could be that you found somebody who is more sensitive to you. Now, because of the challenge position, it could be somebody from this guy could be from your past. So what might happen is that, it's like when I start to look at more of the cards, and it kind of fills in the blanks a little bit, because this is in the challenge position. So I'm reading this in a reversed kind of way. So this could be when there's a lack of forgiveness, but I think in this case that it could be that somebody tries to get in touch with you and tries to get back with you, but it's not a good thing for them to do. Because it's Cups, and because this is Cups, it might be an ex who maybe it is like a Cup sign person, literally. So maybe it's a water sign like a Cancer or a Scorpio or Pisces. Maybe you were with them first and you found them to, okay, I'm going to go with this. I was going to say whiny, because I did have a client who described her partner that way, and he was a Pisces, okay? And I please forgive me if you're watching this and you happen to be a Pisces, for some reason you're watching Aries. I'm just like, that was the first thing that I thought of. But I could see like an Aries person, if you're with a water sign individual, that it would just be like, after a while, it would get on your last nerve, because you always have to walk on eggshells, and you're like a bull in the china closet. So you're not having all of this, special little snowflake moments where people are, they're being triggered, you know what I mean? Easily triggerable. You're kind of like, pull up your panties and deal with it, your big girl panties. You're not, that's just how you are, and that's why you know, I think like if there were two people, you would be more with that person, more on the same wavelength. Because fire sign people, and I said this with, I think, Sagittarius, which happens to be my sun sign, we tend to be egotistical. And I'm not just talking about bragging about ourselves. We just tend to be more interested in our, you know, our life. You know, our life is like a work of art. We really, you know, express ourselves. A lot of us are creative. We just have a lot of ideas. And we don't have time for, you know, crybabies. We don't have time for that, and you don't have time for that. You're a very active person, so you need an active person. You know, you may admire somebody who is artistic and very sensitive, and it might be, you know, sometimes opposites do attract, that's for sure. However, overall, when an Aries person is with somebody who is a water sign, it's very easy for misunderstandings to occur. I have to, you know, I wish I'm almost like ready to get rebellious about this, because I always get people that say, oh, well, I'm nothing like that, and you can't generalize. And, well, in astrology, you can generalize, and you have to generalize, unless you're looking at a birth chart. And even when you're looking at a birth chart, you're looking at different houses and different signs, and there's different qualities assigned to each sign. So that's just how it works. It's all about compartmentalizing, okay? And that's how it works. And if you don't like to be put in a box, then, you know, you're not going to do very well with astrology, because that's what it's done. The lucky thing about astrology is that when you look at a personal chart, there's so much more to it than if I just talk about the sign Aries. But most Aries people are, you know, very forward thinking. You're not going to be like ruminating about something that happened 50 years ago. If you are, look at your chart and see if you have water in your chart, and especially in the personal points, like your moon or your rising sign, Venus or Mars. See if those are in a water sign, and maybe even have more than one of those, because then that can definitely affect how you feel about life, and you may be more prone to being, you know, very sensitive. And there's nothing wrong with being sensitive. That's not what I mean. I'm talking about hypersensitivity. And so this is something, you know, Aries people, they can, you know, even have temper tantrums, and then 5 minutes later they're fine. They just sometimes have very quick fuses. And you do have to watch for that, because it can be very upsetting for the people around you. But in terms of the maliciousness, it's not about malice. It's just about you being very impatient and, you know, very spontaneous in your emotions. You tend not to mask yourself. So that's why you are like this. And people like this may have a facade, and that facade protects them because they are very sensitive, and you get accused of being insensitive. So that might be, I'm bringing up this convoluted scenario because the higher message here is that you're going to probably say goodbye. So, and it's another Cups card, okay? So you may be saying goodbye to the water sign person, maybe forever. Maybe there was somebody, as I say, from your past who was a water sign, and you met this fire sign and you realized this is the one, but that other person came back for more. And you may, for about a minute, be tempted, and I'm saying came back, especially if you're watching this in the first few weeks of September, because of the Mercury retrograde, we might start to see some of that occur. And you might be tempted to take that person back. Maybe you had some good times. You know, it's not that, I'm not trying to say that the water sign person would be terrible for you. I just don't think it would be very compatible. They may have a lot of good qualities, but you may not be on the same page. That's all I'm saying. And we always make it like if we're not on the same page, it means that we hate each other's guts. And that's pretty simplistic. I'm only talking about being able to really appreciate the other person for who they are. It's hard to do that when you think another person's being silly, overreacting, and things of that nature. It's very hard to appreciate somebody when you're thinking those things. And so what helps you in this particular month is represented by the star card. So it's really about, I would say too, if you do not consider yourself a spiritual person, you might want to kind of stick your toe into the water, because it can really guide you. And this is also telling you that you have help from the spiritual realm to help you to kind of navigate any changes in your life, and weather the storm, because it sounds like you may have conflicting, you may feel like this is it, I finally am getting engaged, and then somebody shows up from the past and puts a monkey wrench into it. So make sure that you understand that everything is happening in divine time. And that's the other thing about the star card, is to really see it not in the worldly sense, but see your life in a grander, more expansive way. And realize that, this is just one moment in time. We're going to be doing this for eternity. So don't think that, any beautiful thing that happens, because that's what happens sometimes when, you get engaged, you get married, people think, okay, now I can just rest on my laurels and everything's going to be fine. Well, no, we're human beings. Well, we're spiritual beings having human experiences. Okay? And these human experiences can sometimes be challenging and confusing. Not let alone challenging, try confusing and confounding, And the spiritual dimension gives us not only a greater perspective, but also the hope. That's what this represents. Your wishes are going to be, your prayers are heard, your wishes will be granted. It can also relate to the sign Aquarius. The advice is the Eight of Pentacles. So this is, now, it's speaking just of love itself. This, you see the person's hard at work. This could be that, telling you have to put something into this. If you want a relationship that's going to work, even if you are getting married and you think, okay, now the search is over, now I can kick back my feet and not have to deal with this anymore. No, you have to deal with your relationships. And so you have to invest time into relationships, not just on the front end, but throughout your relationship. Even people who have kids, when they're very savvy about keeping a relationship good, they have date nights. They never fall into that rut. Now, that's the thing about Aries. Aries is really great at initiating, but Aries gets bored very easily. So you're going to have to, I think you're going to have to work on that. You're going to have to work on your reaction to a relationship that is ongoing. Can you sustain interest in an ongoing relationship? That may be a challenge for you, but that doesn't mean it's impossible. It just may mean that you have to really kind of step things up. You have to make an effort and make sure that you invest enough time into it on the front end. Not when things are going bad, but when things are good. Investing time in that other person, and making those memories. And it could also mean that you're going to be working hard at your job. And maybe that's the best thing that you can do. Maybe you've been trying to kind of orchestrate everything, and you're getting too sucked into your relationships, and you got to get back. And this particular endeavor is something that is labor of love. So it might not be your day job. It might be something else that you're working on, a project. And it's saying, keep going, baby. Don't allow anything else. If there's some kind of little, drama that's going on, if somebody came back into your life, or, you're kind of confused for a minute, don't allow that to distract you from any goals that you have. And the outcome is, like I said at the beginning when I saw this card, it's great. The Magician, because I really associate it with a sign like Aries. And I can't remember, it might be associated with Aries. I can't remember. I don't know if it's Capricorn. But it's the initiator, and it's the conscious co-creator. It's the one, you're the first house. This is about you taking charge of your own life, but not of another person's life. That's the thing. That's what you have to know, that it's not your place to interfere with other people and to try to orchestrate their lives, that you just have to focus on yourself and what you're doing, and really believing that you have this power and this authority to be able to affect change, and not just sit there waiting for something to happen, which is totally not how you roll. You're very proactive in your endeavors. But it could be that someone has come in from the past and kind of made you wonder because maybe it's a person who really is a good person. And maybe it's not so much that the person irritates you. Maybe it's just that you feel much more at home with the fire sign or the King of Wands. Maybe that's just how you feel. And you can't help that. It's just how you feel. So you definitely should go with your intuition and not allow any kind of manipulation, because the Knight of Cups, I feel like that person could be manipulative. I feel like they might know exactly what makes you tick. And I think like Aries people are easy marks. And please don't take that as an offense. I think it's kind of cute. But you're so innocent in a way. And sometimes people don't realize that about you because, you are so fiery. But you're like an overgrown kid, and you're just like, you're very upfront, and so sometimes you may think that other people are as honest as you are, and you get that unpleasant realization sometimes, and it's really all you can do to not turn cynical. And that's what this card is about, not being cynical, because maybe you have been taken to the cleaners on prior occasions by somebody. Maybe somebody really played you, and you're so open about it that it was easy for them to do that. You're so kind of like an open book. So you're going to, this Magician card is not about being guarded or paranoid about other people's intentions. It's all about you, and it's all about self-control and self-mastery and manifesting the life that you want by tending to your own garden. And that's how you make things happen for yourself, Aries. So I hope you got something from this reading. If you'd like a private reading, please click on the link below the show more section, in the show more section, and right below this video. And otherwise, I wish you a great month of October in love. Bye.